Good day, students. For this video, I'm going to present to you the constitutional and statutory rights affected or subjected by the police or law enforcement operations. So, in our Philippine Constitution, there are several rights, particular on the Bill of Rights, which was emphasized or mentioned, no, as part of the provisions of our Constitution. And there is also a specific statutory laws or yung tinutukoy po natin pag statutory or yun po ay mga tinatawag nating mga special laws, no? Those statutory rights provided by some, no? Special penal laws, no? So later on, I'll be emphasizing to you one of the provisions or one of the special laws which highlights the rights, no, of person, especially a person who is under custodial investigation. So sa Bill of Rights, hindi po natin siya i-mention lahat-lahat, no? But what I did in this presentation, yes, this is actually a short presentation to you. So, yung mga salient provisions lang po ang ipapakita ko or ipe-present sa inyo ngayong sa video na ito. So, bago pa tayo magpatuloy, no, let us remember, no, you students, no, criminology students, you are actually the future, or you are the ones who will be considered our future law enforcers or police officers. So always keep in mind that being a police officer or law enforcer, you should not be abusive, no? So instead, you are considered to be the protectors, no? You are the protectors of the community, not the abusers of the community, no? As clearly emphasized on your mandates, no? That you should protect the community and be the servant of the community, okay, not the abusers. So you are mandated, or the police are mandated to enforce the laws, no, prevent and control crimes. And in relation to this, uh, if you violate a certain right of a person, no, that is actually, no, or that might tantamount to crime, no, or criminality, okay, or commission of a crime. So aside from that, maintain peace and order and ensure public safety and internal security, okay, with the active support of the community. So again, that is the mandate, no, clearly stated in the laws that we have in relation to the creation of of our police force or law enforcement agencies. And on the second one here, on the highlight, no, so they undertake operations that involve management of crimes and combat situations that threaten public order and safety, no. So in here, what is being emphasized here is that in the conduct of police operations, no, it should, no, it should not violate, no, or all the activities being done or the procedures being done by the law enforcers should not violate rights of a person, no. So especially the ones that are stated in our Philippine Constitution and our special penal laws. So moving on, another thing that you should remember, no, or again, I would like to emphasize to you that police operations are conducted in accordance with the law, no, with the law, whether in our Philippine Constitution or in our or in the or as specified by the special penal laws that we have. So that is to ensure that the citizens' rights are respected and protected, no? So remember this quotation. So in line with this, let us have here some of the salient provisions stated in our Philippine Constitution. So unang-una po dyan, No person shall be deprived of life, no, liberty or property without due process of law. Okay? All persons shall enjoy equal protection of the law. Okay? So again, it is clearly defined in here, no. No person shall be deprived of life, no. Huwag tayong papatay ng basta-basta, hindi porket meron tayong issued na barel ay pag merong suspect tayong uh, hinaharap, no? Eh, agad-agad nating gagamitin yung barel para siya ay uh, i-take down, no? Or para isilbi natin yung ating trabaho or isagawa natin yung ating trabaho as police officers, no? Actually, that made violation of the deprivation of life of the person, no? So meron siyang karapatang mabuhay dito sa mundo, no? Or sa Pilipinas. So hindi po natin siya basta-bastang uh, subject for or patayin ang solusyon para sa pagsugpo ng paghuli or pagsugpo sa kriminalidad dito sa bansa. Okay, again, no person shall be deprived of liberty without due process. Again, without due process, kaya po natin strictly observe po natin, no, yung sinasabi natin na kapag tayo ay or yung procedure na pwede ka lang mag-detain or manghuli ng isang tao kapag siya ay lumabag ng batas. Kapag wala naman siyang nilalabag na batas, hindi natin siya basta-basta pwedeng ikulong. Okay? Or otherwise, kapag ginawa po natin yon, pwede po tayong makasuhan. Again, ano po yung pwedeng maikaso sa atin? Again, arbitrary detention or some other crimes that we have discussed or tackled previously in our topics, no? Again, no person shall be deprived of property, no, without due process of law. Again, hindi natin basta pwedeng sirain. Halimbawa, yung motor niya, nahuli natin siya, meron siyang traffic violation, isisirain natin yung motor niya dahil sa gumawa siya ng or involved siya sa traffic violation, ay hindi po pwede yon, no? So we can only deprive him of his ownership of his property or katulad sa traffic violation, i-impound with due process or kapag pasok po sa due process, no? So kung hindi natin pwedeng basta-basta i-impound ang kanyang motorsiklo kung yung kanyang violation naman ay hindi subject for impounding, no? So halimbawa po ay siya naman ay disregarding traffic sign, no? At yun lang naman ang kanyang traffic violation, eh, hindi naman siya subject for impounding, eh. In-impound natin, that might be a violation of his right, no, to property. So all persons shall enjoy equal protection of law. Okay, again, remember, hindi po wag po nating papanigan kung sino lang yung mayaman, eh siya lang yung papaboran. Kung sino yung mahirap, siya lang yung ating huhulihin. So that is being emphasized in here. Again, on number 2, no, in number 2, all persons have the right to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. So, again, if you remember, no, hindi ka pwedeng mag-search sa isang bahay kapag wala kang search warrant, no? So it is clearly stated, no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall be issued except upon probable cause. Okay? So again, kailan lang tayo pwedeng mag-search? General rule, no? Pag meron tayong search warrant issued by the court, no? Pero again, you can do not forget the plain view doctrine na dinidiscuss natin paulit-ulit previously, no, na kapag illegal yung ating nakita by virtue of plain view doctrine, no, pwede natin siyang i-subject for search and seizure, no. That is one of the exception on the requirement na meron tayong search warrant. So again, general rule, no, in this particular provision in our Philippine Constitution, hindi pwede tayong mag-search, no, sa isang bahay, mangumpiska ng mga gamit without reason, no, or probable cause or valid reason, in other words. So next is any person under investigation shall be informed of his rights, no? Again, yung kanyang mga Miranda rights po ang tinutukoy actually dito sa pangatlong provision na ito. So, right to remain silent, no? Right to have a competent and independent counsel. So, kapag wala siyang kakayahan, no, na makakuha ng kanyang sariling abogado, then the government will be providing him with one counsel, no? So, yun, pwede naman ito ay i-waive ng isang tao, but take note, it should be in writing and it should be in the presence of a counsel, no? So, kung yan ay sasabihin niya, kahit hindi po ako magkaroon ng aking abogado or kahit po, uh, ako po ay magsasalita and yun po, the consent should be documented, or in other words, isulat niya. Isulat niya na wini-waive niya yung kanyang mga karapatan, or in other words, signed by him na merong presensya ng kanyang abogado. Okay, so that is on number 3. Number 4, there should be no torture. So these particular provisions in the Constitution is actually supported by some of our special penal law. So we'll be having that later on, no? Kung ano yung special law na tinutukoy ko. So this is supported by a special law. No torture, force or violence, threat or intimidation, or any other means which vitiate the free will, no? Or secret detention, no? Or solitary confinement or incommunicado. So when we say incommunicado, prohibited siya na kausapin ng ibang tao, lalong-lalo na kanyang mga pamilya, ng kanyang abogado, no? Pinagbabawalan siya. Yun po ay hindi po pwede, no? Solitary confinement, sikretong lugar, secret or talagang in an individual confinement, no? So mag-isa siya sa isang sa kulungan na yan or sikretong lugar, no? At pinagbabawalan pa siya. Yun ay mga pinagbabawal po ng ating constitution. So lahat po ng mga suspect or ng mga taong involved sa krimen, meron po silang karapatan, no, na hindi torturin, na puwersahin or pisikalin, no, or bantahan, no, takutin at pagbawalan na bisitahin ng ibang tao, lalong-lalo ng kanyang mga pamilya. Yan po ay hindi po pwede. Tandaan po natin yan, no, as future law enforcers. Okay, so the accused shall be presumed innocent until proven guilty, especially in criminal cases. We emphasize that, no, para makonvict ang isang tao, no, sa isang kriminal na kaso, kailangan po siyang makonvict beyond reasonable doubt. So kapag walang matibay na ebidensya or hindi pa natatapos ang trial, then the accused shall be presumed innocent. So that is clearly stated in our Philippine Constitution. So those are the salient provisions stated in our Philippine Constitution that I would like to emphasize to you, no, dear students. So let us move on. So what is citizens contact? No? So remember this term also. So when we say citizens contact, it is the time when a police officer engages in face-to-face communication with a citizen. Okay, so the face-to-face contact does not mean the citizen is being suspected of committing a crime. So whether the person is suspected of a crime or not, no, and then you are engaging with them face to face, that is actually considered or defined as a citizen's contact, no? So it is undertaken, or why is it necessary that a police officer is in contact or do face to face transaction or communication also with other people? Of course, syempre, ang daming pwedeng dahilan yan, no, para part ng establishing good rapport with the community, no? Kinakausap mo ang ibang tao, mga member ng community, syempre para i-establish mo ang good rapport. Or kung hindi man, yun, merong suspicious acts na nakikita ka na ginagawa ng isang tao. And then kailangan mo siyang lapitan at kausapin. There are several reasons, no? There are several reasons uh, that we need to be in contact with the citizens. Okay, so that is just simply the term being mentioned, citizens contact. So remember these things also, no, students, no. So especially some of these rights, some of the rights here are stated also in our Philippine Constitution. So when it comes to contact with the citizen, no, be aware of these protocols, no. In these protocols are in line with the rights stated in our Philippine Constitution and our Philippine Special Penal Laws. So you cannot freeze, no, or police officer, he cannot freeze or detain a citizen, no. General rule, except na lang kapag merong crime na ginawa. Okay? Pero kapag wala, no, or kapag walang warrant of arrest, no, hindi natin siya pwedeng ikulong, no, or hindi natin siya pwedeng i-subject for search kapag wala tayong search warrant unless meron tayong mga valid reasons. So number 2, no, again, do not force or coerce to require a citizen to stop, no, and respond to questions, no. So meron silang karapatan na hindi ka nila pansinin o kaya hindi ka sagutin, no, unless na lang again meron tayong valid reason, so suspicious yung ginagawa niya at umiiwas siya at meron tayong by personal knowledge, no, yung sinasabi natin application of your discretion, meron matibay kang reason na meron siyang illegal or meron siyang krimen na binabalak. Okay, that's the time we can use, no, or we can enforce na talagang gamitan ng force, but again reasonable force, no, hindi po yung unreasonable force, no. Maalala po ninyo yung use of force continuum na diniscuss natin noon. I-observe natin yan. Una muna, verbal, bago po tayo umangat, no, doon sa non-lethal approach or lethal approach kung kinakailangan. Okay? So, number 3, he cannot create a barrier to citizens' ability. So, in relation to this, halimbawa traffic violation, no? O kaya wala naman siyang traffic violation, kinuha niyo ID niya or driver's license niya, no? Para hindi siya makaalis or para hindi siya makaiwas sa inyo, no? Wala naman dahilan pero kinukuhanan natin siya ng gamit as parang collateral para hindi siya umalis or hindi para siya ay sumagot sa inyo. That is actually in general rule hindi po pwede yan. Okay? So, unless meron siyang traffic violation, no, at kailangan nating tingnan or kunin yung kanyang lisensya para hindi siya makatakas, pwedeng valid pa yun. Pero kung wala namang traffic violation, kinukuha mo driver's license or kinukuhanan mo siya ng kanyang mga gamit para hindi siya makaalis, makaiwas sa'yo, para mapuwersa mo siyang pasagutin, wala naman na reasonable din na dahilan para pilitin mo siyang sumagot sa'yo, wala siyang kahina-hinalang ginagawa, that is a violation, no? Remember that. Okay? So number 4, he should introduce himself and explain the reason for making the contact. General rule yan sa nung nagdi-discuss po tayo sa step by step or procedure ng pag-stop and frisk, no? Na-mention din po natin yan. Okay? So, magpakilala ka, no? Lalong-lalo na kung hindi ka naka-uniforme. Okay? So, ano yung kailangan mong pakita? Yung pagkakakilanlan mo as part of the law enforcement agency or a police officer, no? Yung ID mo as police officer, no? Number 5, he is expected to keep the contact as brief as possible. So, kapag po tayo ay nagpatigil ng isang civilian sa public, no, wag po natin paabutin ng 1 oras ang pagtatanong natin sa kanya, no? So, mabilisan lang, as brief as possible, no? Hindi po yung aabot ng 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no? Unless reasonable na kailangan nating patagalin yung ating pakikipag-usap sa kanya. Okay, number 6, he should inform the citizen that she need not to answer any questions or free to leave anytime. So again, hindi po pwedeng pilitin natin siyang sumagot sa ating mga katanungan, no? O kaya hindi siya Hindi po pwedeng pigilan natin siyang umalis kung halimbawa po ay kailangan or sinasabi niyang aalis siya or nagmamadali siya, no, ay hindi po natin siya po pwedeng pigilan. Okay? Unless na lang, again, pag meron na naman tayong valid reason. So, ano na naman ang reason? Na meron tayong nakakitang probable cause that he might be committing a crime or he is attempting to commit a crime. No? Or in other words, ang valid reason natin, merong krimen or there is a possibility, no, of a crime commission. Okay, so those are the things that is being emphasized in here, especially in citizens contact. Okay, so next slide, I should say. So in the conduct of spot check, no, so spot check or in public, again, in public ay meron yung mga times as a police officer kailangan nating patigilin ng isang tao nga in relation to our on the discuss provisions on the previous slide, no. So he should clearly identify himself or herself as a police officer. Again, lalong-lalo na kapag ikaw ay hindi naka-uniforme or kahit ikaw ay naka-uniforme, magpakilala ka pa rin, no. And again, number 2, remember this, you should be courteous at all time. Hindi porket ikaw ay law enforcer or police officer, ipabalang ka ng makipag-usap sa public, no? Or parang ang tingin mo sa kanila ay mga bata mo or mga tauhan mo. So remember, be courteous, maging magalang po sa lahat ng pagkakataon in dealing with citizens or individuals, okay? So again, yung mga tanong natin ay wag pong kung ano-ano, no? So, again, kanina na-mention natin, as brief as possible yung pagpapatigil natin or pakikipag-usap natin, no? Huwag po yung tatanungin natin siya ng lahat-lahat ng details about sa kanya. So, pwede pa siguro to place of residence or identity niya or ano yung ginagawa niya sa lugar na yan. Bakit siya nandyan sa lugar? Halimbawa, dito sa Barangay Molino 6, bakit siya nandito ngayon? Pwede pa nating matanong yon. Pero kung yung itatanong natin ano yung contact number niya, no? Ano yung pangalan ng kanyang uh, girlfriend or boyfriend, no? Yun ay mga out of nowhere na mga tanong yon. Okay? So that is emphasized in number 2, no? So that is also in relation to the highlighted provision a while ago, as brief as possible or as soon as possible yung pakikipag-usap natin, hindi natin pinapatagal. Number 3, he or she cannot compel a citizen to answer questions. So we mentioned this a while ago. So he or she cannot arrest a citizen on the grounds that the citizen failed to refuse. Okay, remember this, students, no? Ayaw niyang sumagot sa mga katanungan mo, no? Halimbawa, no, pinatigil mo siya kasi parang kahina-hinala yung ginagawa niya, no? Pero ayun, nung tinatanong mo, ayaw niyang sumagot, no? Ibigla mong inaresto. Punta tayo sa police station, doon ka na magpaliwanag. So is that a valid arrest? Or is that a valid circumstance na sasabihin mo warrantless arrest, no? So hindi po pwede yan. Okay? Hindi po basta-basta yun, no? So that is on number 4. Okay? So remember those things, especially in citizens contact. Okay? So this time I'm going to present to you salient provisions, no, of RA 7438. So this is actually one of these this is actually, we are already referring to statutory rights. Bakit si statutory rights? Kasi po yung mga rights ay naibigay or nailagay as provisions ng mga special penal laws. So tandaan po natin, pag mga karapatan po na binigay ng mga special penal laws, katulad po ng RA 7438, yan po ay tinatawag nating mga statutory rights. Pero kapag mga karapatan na nakasaad sa ating Constitution or Philippine Constitution, yun po yung tinatawag na mga constitutional rights. Okay? So what are some of these statutory rights provided in RA 7438? So again, ang nilalaman po ng RA 7438 ay rights of the person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation, as well as the duties of public officers having custody of them. Okay? So, unang-una po dyan na nakasaad po na karapatan nila ay yan. Any person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation shall at all times be assisted by a counsel. So again, it is, kung mapapansin niyo po, no, yung mga sinasabi po ng ating special penal laws ay nakasaad po sa ating nakasaad din sa ating Philippine Constitution, no? So again, no? Ano ba kasi ang ating Philippine Constitution? Yan po yung ating Supreme Law. Pinakamataas po yan na batas natin dito sa Pilipinas. Supreme Law, no? By the word Supreme Law, or tinatawag ding the mother of all laws pag sinabing Constitution, no? Kaya po lahat po ng mga batas na isasagawa ng ating mga senador, ng ating mga congressman, ng ating mga mambabatas sa barangay level or sa municipal or city level ay dapat po naka-align po sa ating Philippine Constitution. Okay? So again, that is just actually an addition. So ngayon, yung sinasabi po natin dito sa una na ito sa paragraph A, at all times, no, kasama talaga ang abogado, no? So yun po yung tinutukoy natin na counsel. Again, yung abogado ng isang na-aresto, na-detain, or under custodial investigation na tao. So again, when we say under custodial investigation, ongoing na iniimbestigahan yung kaso niya habang siya ay nakakulong or habang siya ay kinukulong, no? Or under custody ng isang police officer or law enforcer. Okay, yun po yung sinasabi nating custodial investigation. So again, custodial investigation, habang siya, ongoing yung investigation at siya ay kasalukuyang nakakulong or under custody ng isang public officer. So again, tandaan po natin, lahat po ng proceedings, proseso, kasama ang or assisted by counsel dapat yung taong yan. Paragraph B, no? So, tandaan po natin, so in-underlinean ko po ito kasi ito yung pinaka-importante dito sa napakahabang provision na ito. In a language known to or understood by him. Okay? So, hindi po English lang ang pamamaraan natin para i-inform ang isang tao, no? O kaya kausapin ng isang tao. Lalong-lalo na, inform yung isang tao with regards to his rights, no? As well as, ano yung dahilan, bakit natin siya inaresto, kinulong, no? So, in informing his rights, lahat-lahat, right to remain silent, to have competent and independent counsel, lahat ng mga yon, hindi po English lang or Filipino ang pwede nating gamitin na language. Take note, sinasabi po sa ating penal law na ito, a language known to or understood by him. So in short, kapag po ang kanyang naiintindihan lang na salita ay Ilocano, then kailangan mong i-explain in Ilocano, no? Paano kapag hindi ka marunong mag-Ilocano? That's the time hindi lang naman ikaw yung police officer, no? Na nandyan, pwede kang magpatulong sa mga kasama mo or pakausap sa mga ibang police officer na nakakapagsalita ng Ilocano. Kung hindi Ilocano yung kanyang naiintindihan, Bisaya lang, then Bisaya natin siya i-explain. Okay? So, yun po yung sinasabi dyan. Kahit anong lingwahe, so long as yan po ay naiintindihan, okay? Naiintindihan ng ating taong na-aresto, na-detain, or nakakulong, or undergoing investigation. Okay? So, I hope that is clear on that part. No? Next, paragraph C. So, on paragraph C, tandaan po natin kapag ang isang tao na-aresto, na-detain, nakakulong, at sabi niya, kahit hindi ko na po, i-waive ko na po ang aking mga karapatan, again, i-reduce in writing. And kapag naman sa usapang custodial investigation report, again, the police officer should have this in writing, no? And, no, yung report na yan ay pirmahan din ng taong tinutukoy natin doon sa investigation report, lalong-lalo na yung naaresto, no? O kaya kung hindi siya marunong magsulat, no, or magbasa, thumb mark, no, in lieu of his signature. Okay? So again, shall be read and adequately explained to him, lagi kasama ang kanyang counsel, no? So kapag wala yung again, kapag usapang counsel, no, yung kanyang abogado. Okay? So kapag hindi po yan na-observe, no, halimbawa po binasa natin sa kanya yung custodial investigation report, no, nakasaad doon ano yung mga dahilan bakit siya kinukulong, bakit ano yung mga circumstances, bakit siya inaresto, at wala yung kanyang abogado, no? Wala yung kanyang abogado, no, nung binasa natin or kinausap, in-explain sa kanya yun, then that should be considered null and void. Ibig sabihin po, wala na pong saysay po yung kanyang, hindi po pwede, or yung investigation report, wala na po yan, hindi po may consider yan na legal. Okay? No effect or whatsoever. Okay? Yan po yung tinutukoy sa provision na yan. Kaya kapag kayo po ay naging police officer or law enforcer, tandaan po natin yung mga to, bakit na i-discuss sa mga topic natin. Pag po meron tayong investigation report na ginawa, no, kailangan po kasama ng abogado niya or ng taong inaresto natin, yung abogado niya pag i-present natin yan sa kanya. Okay? Kasi kapag hindi natin ginawa yun, null and void na po yung investigation report na yan. Paragraph D. So, extrajudicial confession. So, pag sinabing extrajudicial confession, outside the court po yung pag-amin niya. No? So, alimbawa po, umamin siya sa police station, no? Or meron siyang mga binigay na pag-amin or confession or admission na isinaad niya, no? Extrajudicial confession yan. So, kaya po sinabing extrajudicial because it is outside the court, no? Hindi siya sa court mismo nag-plea ng guilty or nagbigay ng confession. So ano po yung tatandaan natin siya diyan? It should be in writing, no? And again, no, it is signed by such person in the presence of his counsel. So dapat merong abogado, hindi lang yung basta pinapirma niyo dun sa tao, no? So dito papasok sa provision na ito yung pwedeng kung kapag dito po mandatory counsel ang dapat kasama niya. Pero pag sa provision na ito sa letter D, no? Kapag wala po yung kanyang abogado, sino ang pwedeng mag-take over, no? During the time na siya ay nag-confess, no? So sino ang pwedeng maging present, no? So yun po yung sinasabi, in the absence of the counsel upon a valid waiver, especially of course dapat merong waiver yung ating naarestong tao din, no, na uh, kahit wala yung kanyang counsel, no, ay pwede pa rin niyang sabihin yung mga confessions niya, no? So ngayon, sino yung mga taong pwedeng mag-take over in lieu of the counsel? No, yung kanyang magulang, parents, no? Elder brothers or sisters, kanyang asawa, municipal mayor sa kanilang lugar, municipal judge, district school supervisor, priest, minister, or alin sa mga yon nabanggit na yon ay pwede pong mag-take over. Okay? Otherwise, pag wala pong presensya, walang valid waiver din, walang counsel, yung extrajudicial confession na yun, yung pag-amin po na sinabi niya na yun, inadmissible as evidence in court. Okay, tandaan po natin yan, no? Future law enforcers, no? Tandaan nyo, para hindi maging hindi mabaliwala, no? Or para tanggapin ng korte po yung ating as evidence po yung confession na yan, ay dapat po sundin natin yung sinasabi ng paragraph D. Sunod, no? Let us proceed with paragraph E. So, any waiver by a person arrested or detained under the provisions of Article 125, ano ulit po yung nasa Article 125? Yan po yung, maalala nyo po siguro, ito na di-discuss din sa ibang subject, 12, 18, 36, no? So, 12, 18, 36, no? Yan po ay may kinalaman sa duration or oras, no? Hours kung na kailangan po nating madala siya sa police station or sa judicial authority. Okay? So, pag halimbawa po, no, sinabi niya, okay lang kahit po ako ay ma-detain ng kahit lagpas 12 hours, no? Kasi light offense yung kanyang nagawa, no? Light offense yung kanyang nagawa at habang inaasikaso yung kanyang documents or legal documents, no? And kailangan siyang ikulong beyond 12 hours or detain muna beyond 12 hours, ay dapat po in writing, no? Kung sinabi niyang okay lang kahit makulong ako beyond 12 hours, it should be in writing and signed by the person in the presence of the counsel again, okay? Otherwise, that is null and void, no? Hindi po yan legal and wala yang effect. So, violation yan, no? So, dapat kapag ayaw niya, no, kailangan talaga natin siyang i-release, no? I-release habang pinagpapatuloy natin yung ating trabaho na pag-iimbestiga laban sa kanya. Okay? So, paragraph F. Any person arrested or detained under custodial investigation shall be allowed visits by or conferences. So again, remember in relation with the constitutional rights mentioned a while ago, bawal siyang ikulong sa solitary confinement, sikretong mga lugar, bawal siya inkomunikado na sinasabi natin, no? Take note, it is supported in this provision pwede siyang bisitahin ng kanyang immediate family member. So, sino yung tinutukoy na immediate family member? Highlighted po dito sa baba. Yan po ay yung kanyang asawa, kanyang kasintahan or fiancé, no? Parent, no? Mga magulang, kanyang anak, brother or sister, grandparent or grandchild, uncle or aunt, nephew or niece, and guardian or ward or yung kanyang kung siya ay lalong-lalo na kung siya ay minor de edad or let's say under custody pa ng kanyang guardian or ward. Okay? So, yan po yung tinutukoy or paglilinaw po natin sa sinasabing immediate family member. So, pag tinanong po tayo, kasama po dyan, pwede po ba si uncle niya dumalaw dyan sa bilangguan, sa kulungan na kung saan siya ay nakadetain? Pwede po, as mentioned here, no? Uncle or aunt. Paano kapag yung kanyang kaibigan, friend? Tanong, friend, pwede po ba? Take note, hindi po siya kasama as immediate family member, no? Ang pwede po, yung kanya talagang kasintahan or fiancé, no? So, ibig sabihin, engaged na sila. So, pwede pa yon, no? So, basta masabi natin na fiancé, okay? So, aside from them, yung kanyang doktor, no? Huwag natin pagbawalan na siya ay bisitahin yung kanyang pare or religious minister or leader nila sa kanilang simbahan na kinabibilangan niya, no? Member of his immediate family or his council, national non-governmental organization accredited by Commission on Human Rights, yun po ay mga pwedeng dumalaw sa kanya. So, hindi po natin siya pwedeng pagbawalan. Okay? Yan po yung sinasabi ng paragraph F. So actually, meron po tayong panghuli dito in the provisions of RA 7438 or statutory rights. So again, yung term po na custodial investigation. So sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, when I say custodial investigation, the person arrested is still under the custody of a police officer or a public officer or kasalukuyang nakakulong or nasa custody, no? Pangangalaga, in other words, ng isang public officer, no? Ay tinatawag po natin na custodial investigation. So ongoing yung investigation sa kaso niya. Pero pag sa pagtatanong, no, or merong mga tanong kasi, paano kapag inimbitahan lang niya, no? Inimbitahan niyang pumunta sa police station. So paglilinaw po ng RA 7438, invitation to a person who is investigated in connection with an offense he is suspected to have committed without prejudice to the liability of the inviting officer for any violation of law, no, ay considered pa rin po yan na custodial investigation. So, tandaan po natin na inanyayahan mo lang or iniimbitahan mo yung isang tao, doon ka na sa presinto magpaliwanag, no? kaya merong nangyaring ano dyan, merong nangyaring krimen at meron kang taong nakita dyan, present dyan sa lugar na yan, no, na hindi naman siya yung suspect or wala tayong katibayan na siya yung suspect, pero inimbitahan natin siya sa presinto para makausap, ay tinatawag na rin po yung custodial investigation. So, tandaan po na natin yan, ha? So, ngayon, pag inimbitahan nyo yung taong yan para kausapin sa police station, dapat ninyong i-observe lahat ng mga karapatan, mga rights po na binanggit natin kanina. Kasi pasok po yan as custodial investigation. So again, ano yung dinefine ng RA 7438? The rights of the persons under custodial investigation. So, tandaan po natin yung mga yan. Okay? So, I hope that is clear, dear students. So, tandaan po nating maigi yan. So, that is actually the my salient discussion or presentation on the constitutional rights or statutory rights affected or subject to law enforcement operations. Okay? So, yung mapapansin nyo po sa inyong handout ay medyo mahaba yung nandyan. But actually, sinamarize po natin yung sa presentation. Yung mga iba po kasi dyan ay kung titignan po ninyo, no, babalikan po ninyo, na-discuss po yan sa ibang chapters po natin. Okay? So, natakal na po yung mga yan. So, that is all for this presentation. So, I hope this video is helpful to you. So, if you have questions, you are free to uh, type it on our comment section also. So, I'll be responding to them as soon as I see those questions. Okay? So, thank you.